So today I'll be reviewing Pokemon Journeys episode 59, The Lost Grookey Who is Its Trainer. So in this episode we finally found out who Grookey's trainer is, and I can't even say I'm surprised because I figured this would happen, and because the anime gave it away early on. So the episode starts off with Goh in a weird dream sequence with his parents as Rillaboom, then he wakes up to Grookey on his arm. Then we find out that it's from Galar and we see its whole evolution line, which was surprising since they usually don't show the evolution line of a Pokemon until it evolves or it actually appears. Then Goh does what Goh does and tries to catch it, but the Pokédex tells him not to be a thief, since Grookey already belongs to someone else, and I thought it was pretty cool that it did that since I don't think we've ever seen that before. So after that, Grookey wakes up and starts hitting everybody and making a mess of Koharu's hair, and later on they decide to track down Grookey's trainer using Yamper. And while we're doing that, we see Grookey just having fun the entire time, and eventually they get to a park and Grookey uses its powers to help some flowers bloom. And eventually they make their way to a Pokemart, and they're given permission to check the cameras, and that's when we get the reveal that Grookey actually belongs to Team Rocket, since it came from their vending machine and Pelipper just happened to drop it. And I thought this was an interesting twist because it gives value to the vending machine for the first time probably in the entire series. So after their encounter with Team Rocket, they leave with Grookey, and rightfully so since they kind of own it. But later on we see Grookey escaping Team Rocket's base, and we see Goh worried about Grookey. So the next morning Goh decides to go looking for Grookey to return its stick to it, and he finds it at the flower fields from the day before. And that's when Team Rocket appears and tells Grookey to return to it so that it can be re-educated at Team Rocket headquarters. And Jessie throws the Pokeball for Grookey to return, but Grookey ends up breaking the Pokeball, which disables its capture, making it wild again. And Grookey tells Goh to catch it again, courtesy of Meowth's translating, and Goh catches it, and then they send Team Rocket flying. And then they go back to the lab and Grookey apologizes to Eevee and rides it into the sunset, and that pretty much ends the episode. So the main focus of this episode was obviously Goh meeting and bonding with Grookey. And there are lots of things to talk about regarding this episode, and I'll save my thoughts on Goh actually catching Grookey to the end, so let's start from the beginning. So I thought the dream sequence in the beginning was weird and unnecessary since it didn't really provide us with anything. I thought maybe we would see Rillaboom in this episode as Grookey's parents, but that was just there for comedic purposes, which really didn't make any sense. It seemed like that just happened to cover up the fact that Grookey randomly appeared in Goh's room. And if that was supposed to be some kind of special foreshadowing, they kind of did a bad job with that, and they never really explained how Grookey got to Goh's bed. And when it comes to the mystery of who would get Grookey in the anime completely evaporated that mystery instantly, since at the start of the episode we knew that Goh would end up with Grookey, and that somewhat made me feel disengaged with the episode since I knew how it was going to end from the start. I did like the twist with Team Rocket being the ones who actually owned Grookey first, especially since it's a starter Pokemon. And I also like how Team Rocket mentioned re-educating Grookey at Team Rocket's headquarters, which makes me wonder if we'll ever see it in the anime. I think it'd be pretty cool if maybe Ash and Goh went there some way and tried to free Pokemon from there. I think that might be a pretty cool arc in the future, but that's pretty much the last thing I want to talk about regarding Team Rocket. Now lastly, I want to talk about what is probably the biggest takeaway of the episode for some people, and that's how Goh caught Grookey and not Ash, since some people like this and others absolutely hate this. So some people are happy about Goh getting the last starter since now he has the complete Galar trio, and some people absolutely hate that he got this because it means that Ash isn't getting a starter Pokemon, and it further feeds into the theory and discussion that Ash is being replaced since he's already been sidelined in a lot of these episodes. So when it comes to me, I can see both sides of the argument, and even though I saw this coming, I'm still surprised that Ash is getting nothing for the first time in 20 years. This is the first time he isn't going to have the current gen starter, and the second time he isn't going to get the grass starter in general. Which, like I was saying earlier, further provides evidence that this series is slowly starting to replace Ash with Goh, which is a whole video in itself that I'll probably talk about next week or at a different time. But this is one of the many reasons that people are starting to dislike and even hate Goh. I don't hate Goh, but it is still hard for me to process the fact that Goh got all 3 starters while Ash is getting nothing for the first time in over 1,000 episodes. But I'm not really mad at Goh getting it because just think about it. Would you rather have Ash have Dragonite, Gengar, and Lucario on his team or just another starter Pokemon? The answer is obvious to me because I definitely prefer his current team, aside from maybe Farfetch, over Grookey. Plus, Ash would have to train Grookey from its current level all the way up to Rillaboom to a level where it could be able to compete with some of the best Pokemon in the world, and I don't think we have enough time for that with the amount of episodes Ash is getting in the World Championships. So overall, I thought this was a good episode, and it's a definite watch since Goh caught Grookey, which is a Pokemon that's probably going to be around for a while, but then again, Cinderace hasn't been in 2 episodes, so who knows. That aside, let me know what you thought of this episode and Goh Catching Grookey. Thanks for watching, and bye.